This episode of Clearly Cast is brought to you by Spirit Solutions. Explore a huge variety of military, civilian, and role-playing assets when shopping with Spirit Solutions, who enhance the user experience through intricate and precise details while still maintaining top-level customer service and user satisfaction on their platforms. Spirit Solutions platforms will be linked in this episode's description. Go check them out. This episode of Clearly Cast is also brought to you by Fire Crew Development, with their range of extraordinary fire service, emergency service, and role-playing products. With a plethora of continuous 5-star user reviews, it's a no-brainer when searching for automated, scripted, and advanced fire systems for your amazing Roblox game. Check them out via the links in this episode's description to find out more about Fire Crew Development. Hello and welcome to Clearly Cast, the go-to show brought to you by the fastest growing Roblox UGC marketplace. I'm of course your host Reese, and sitting beside me today on the couch we have a very well-known member within the Ro television industry. Actually, you know, that's something I've never said before, but in the Ro television industry, but also in the Ro-Aviation industry as well. Jack, obviously welcome onto Clearly Cast. For those who don't know who Jack, he was a part of AV Awards and especially is very well known for running NorTV, one of the best, if not the best, Roblox television group out there, and you pull a lot of views per video. You know, some videos are in thousands and thousands of views, especially the live aviation event, Avi Awards. And you know, as a marketplace that has them 10,000 sellers and 30,000 products, seeing your statistics too really, you know, felt like we should step close. We obviously sponsored AV Awards because, you know, we saw the potential in it, and it brought that potential, let me tell you. I mean, I was a part of it and it was absolutely incredible. Obviously, Jack, I know you were very well indulged of it, but, you know, whilst we were sort of getting together talking about this entire event, it was definitely something new that obviously I never seen before. I know Lucian has seen it. Lucian was a part of it as well. If you don't know who Lucian is, if you're external to Clearly Dev, he is our CEO, and I feel like that is something that is definitely needed. You know, this Ro television industry is something that needs to be explored. Obviously, NorTV, you are absolutely amazing at it, Jack, and you know, the people above you obviously have an immense creativity, but also so does the team below you, and so do you actually. So it was incredible to see AV Awards be such a success. So of course, Jack, if you're in the Ro-Aviation space, everyone sort of, you know, knows of AV Awards and what happened in 2023, but what role do you sort of play in the AV Awards and NorTV? Because you're a part of NorTV, obviously, Jack, but what is your role? Where do you actually stand in the filming and production of
Yeah,
AV
cool.
Awards?
So my role kind of varies from year to year, me personally anyway. So I'm one of the three members of upper management in NorTV. So you've got myself, you've got Daniel, and you've got P&L1, who's our head of development. I'm typically more like the business management side of things. So I typically resource, you know, the advertising, the sponsors, hosts, and just typically ensuring that they're all sorted so that the rest of the team can focus on the production side. So I kind of take the responsibility of all of the business side of things. So like anything to do with, you know, the statistics that we need, or any sort of like, I kind of oversee the marketing side of things, that kind of stuff. But over the years, my role in AV Awards specifically has changed. I was a camera operator, but I was also kind of just like here, there, and everywhere, just helping people wherever they needed. I was kind of like the all-round guy for pretty much anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously seen, since Clearly Dev sort of sponsored Avi Awards, I've seen, you know, behind the scenes, and obviously you posted some in the Avi Awards server or NorTV server on Discord, and it was absolutely incredible, the camera system that was made. So, I mean, did you custom create that system? Is that all custom created from NorTV?
Yes, everything that you see inside of NorTV is completely custom coded by us. So the cameras themselves, they're all modelled and meshed by us. They're all scripted by us at NorTV, and specifically P&L1 and Daniel. It's mostly just them two who work on those.
It was absolutely incredible. I mean, I saw it, and I mean, I'd sort of seen never like it before. I mean, you go into, you know, these productions, or even Clearly Cast for that, you know, matter, and, you know, we use free cam, everyone uses free cam, but to actually have an in-game live thing of a camera feed, that is what was incredible to me, and that is, you know, something I've never seen before. So obviously that was something completely new to me, and I think that is what really made, you know, the entire Avi Awards thing engaging, is that, you know, there was set camera angles, but then there was also like different camera angles as well. You said that obviously NorTV is all about Roblox production and Roblox television. Why did you choose Ro-Aviation as your main event thing for NorTV?
Well, I mean, it didn't really come to us. It more just, we kind of started off NorTV in Ro-Av anyway. So when it was founded in 2018, Daniel, who founded NorTV, he was already a part of Ro-Av as a whole. He had quite a high role in Norwegian Airlines, if I remember correctly. You know, he saw the potential for like broadcasting in that niche, and then NorTV was created. And we've kind of just expanded from there. So we've kind of grown into the Ro-Av community as a whole. I think, in fact, one of the first NorTV productions was a Norwegian Airlines Got Talent or something like that. So, you know, we've kind of expanded into this community where, you know, there's passion and there's detail orientation everywhere you see. And it's kind of the perfect fit for us two groups, as, you know, we're exactly like that as well, just in terms of broadcasting and production. So we kind of bring the two together, and you know, from the start we've been committed to
I've obviously
Ro-Av.
looked in before Clearly Dev did all the sponsorship stuff, and before we had our first call, you know, it was absolutely amazing to sort of look through the YouTube channel and see all the views you were getting and the engagement from the Ro-Av community and also other sectors of the Roblox community too. I mean, I would look on your YouTube channel, looked on other social medias, because that's just what I do before going through with the sponsorship. It was incredible. You know, you're doing something completely good, but also on the topic of doing something right, obviously Avi Awards, pretty good success this year. Obviously, I know Roblox had a few outages whilst you were there, but you know, that's just Roblox and every single game updating at the same time for some reason. But obviously, Avi Awards as a whole was a success. So would you say the sort of feedback or, you know, the reception that you got from, you know, the audience after the show was positive, or was it negative? You know, because there's always going to be, you know, two sides to everything. So what would you say the main thing was? Was it positive? Or
This year specifically, it was positive. I'd 100% say that. People, I think, a lot more positive than previous awards, definitely. It was definitely our most successful year by far. We didn't face a kind of like backlash that we'd seen in previous years. It was really encouraging to read, which is quite rare for an event of this scale, especially on Roblox and in the Ro-Av community. I think everybody will know that anybody who tries to put on an event in Ro-Av or Roblox as a whole normally seems to have mostly negative comments, even if it was quite a good production. But we didn't see that this time, and it was actually mostly positive, which was really nice to see. The improvements that we've made this year, though, really reflected
I obviously,
that.
you know, I've looked through all the chats and everything like that. It was absolutely incredible to see, you know, a positive reception and people, you know, actually being so happy that they'd actually won an award, which I think is exactly what, you know, what needs to happen. I mean, if there wasn't award shows like this, and if there wasn't, you know, productions like this that are made, there wouldn't be any competition. There wouldn't really be any innovation. So, you know, it's like having the awards.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. I think, you know, creating this show where people actually feel an accomplishment if they win, or even if they're nominated, that's one of our biggest successes, because it means something. And that's one of the things that we monitor and we track. If somebody's nominated, are they excited about it, or is it just like, oh yeah, it's just the Avi Awards, it doesn't really mean anything? But people are excited when they're nominated, and even when they win, you know, we see a lot of positive comments.
It was absolutely incredible to see, though. I mean, honestly, you know, from, even if this is a podcast or whatever, it was from heart, and it was incredible to see. And obviously, it is amazing to see such a community come together, and especially in this sort of retrospect as well. I mean, there's obviously going to be people voting, there's going to be biases, but to completely get rid of them and to have this award show out there unbiased and everything like that, it was incredible, you know, to see and everything like that. So when you compare this, well, last year's technically 2024 Avi Awards to other previous years, I mean, I know the one in 2023 wasn't Avi Awards, and while that happened, but the other years that you've sort of had Avi Awards, I know there's been some other productions done on that. What was their type of feedback, and how does that sort of contrast with 2024?
Yeah, I mean,
Avi Awards?
if I take it back to, let's say, the first one, so 2018, it was exciting. I wasn't around personally, so I've received this information from the rest of the management team who were there when it happened. So Daniel. It was exciting. It was, you know, the first kind of event that that Ro-Av had seen. Like 2018 didn't really go well at all. NorTV was still in its very, very early stages at that point, so you can definitely see the difference in production quality. You know, there wasn't really many graphics. It was very much like a cut together kind of event. And then we experienced the issue with the voting bias, which is the reason we have such sophisticated voting systems today. Obviously, in 2018, Le Monde won. I can't remember, but it was most of the awards, but that was because they had the largest community at the time, and their community went out and voted for them. 2018 was focused specifically on the popular vote, so it was basically just the largest airlines win everything, which obviously we couldn't let happen again. So 2018 didn't go very well. but we definitely improved since.
Well,
year
yeah, I
one.
mean, that's one thing, isn't it? There's always going to be sort of bias in the voters' decision. The one thing is that there's always going to be communities saying, please vote for us, or if you vote for us, we'll give you a discount or something like that, which obviously you don't want to put into the voting because it's not their truthful thinking, which obviously is why I think it's good to, like Avia Awards 2024 did have a sophisticated voting system. Have you noticed a viewer increase as well, or, has there been an engagement increase too? Because obviously going from 2018 to 2024, is 6 years ahead. So has there been that increase? And, is it quite a marginal increase?
I mean, 100%. The last AV Awards was only 4 weeks ago. So since then, we've kind of been monitoring the statistics of that video quite eagerly to see what's going on, what viewers are most engaged with, and what we can improve on for next year. So there's definitely parts that we can work on. There's definitely segments in there that were less favoured by viewers, and the segments that were more favoured, I suppose. In terms of specific numbers, the VOD, so where we've posted onto YouTube, so far in the last 5 or 4 weeks has seen already like 8 times more views than 2022 in the same time frame. Live viewership during the awards was significantly higher. 2022, off the top of my head, and this could be wrong, but I believe our max viewership was around 180 to 200, and this year it peaked at, I think it was around 400 viewers this time, so that's nearly double. And our YouTube chat as well, that saw over 3,000 messages sent in just the live chat, and our click-through rates were significantly higher this year as well. So obviously we're doing something right with the thumbnails and actually pulling viewers in. So I think the overall engagement figures as well, they kind of reflect everything that we've seen so far in terms of the positive changes.
There's definitely been some positive changes. I mean, obviously, clearly Dev has been, working with you or working with Avia Awards to produce a sponsorship and all that sort of stuff. But I think I've also seen, the advertisements as well on stuff like X and social media and your own Discord server. And I've definitely seen, quite a lot of content go out. So I definitely think you're doing something right. Like I said, you're doing definitely something right. So, I mean, it's good exactly what you're doing. Getting the high click-through rate is definitely something that everybody in the content creation space or social media, TV space definitely wants. So that is obviously amazing what you're doing. So, going through the years of Avia Awards to 2018 till 2024, how long did it take, to prepare and, to edit and plan Avia Awards then compared to, 2024?
Well, if I'm being totally honest, the planning for the next AV Award starts the second the last one ends. So for 24 specifically, obviously there wasn't one in 23, but the planning began immediately after a certain award show, and we decided we're going to bring it back for next year. So the planning really starts then. It definitely picks up around, I'd say, August, September time, and that's when it really starts to pick up, and that's when we get our nominees sorted. That's when we get all of our systems created, the theatres made, the marketing campaigns generated, and all scheduled basically. So we have a clear plan around October time where we can actually start to get all of this stuff put into place. I think you would have known that specifically when we contacted Clearly Dev for sponsorship quite early in the year to get ready for the show. So it's definitely a long process.
Definitely looks like a long process with the amount of systems you have to set up, cameras, people. You have to make sure they're all online at the same time, and the live streams and the graphics are going good and everything like that. I think when we had our first call as well, you showed us sort of the planning stages and what month would contain and all that, and it was absolutely incredible to see how much was going to be done in a month and how much was going to be done over the months too. Talking about obviously having a great community around it, NorTV obviously has a pretty big community in its Discord server, but so did the Avia Awards 2024 one too. So do you think that the Avia Awards show actually, creates an amazing community around the Ro-Av space, because it brings people from all sides of development, whether it be from Ro-Aviation or people like me who have no idea about Ro-Aviation development sucked into the content?
I'd certainly believe so, yeah. There's not a specific way that we can measure that, so I couldn't give you raw data here, but what we can say is we have seen people watch AV Awards and they've never seen Ro-Av before. But for example, we had really positive feedback about our interview with Ureb. So people had watched that who hadn't yet been in Ro-Av, watched it and thought, you know what, this actually looks like a really good community. They've seen the positive comments on the video. They've seen, the engagement with the video. And I suppose like the quality in the production as well kind of shows that it's not just a little community on Roblox. It's become a lot more than that. So I would say, yeah, there's definitely going to be people who have watched AV Awards and thought, I'm going to have a look at this, or I'm going to view some of the winners or some of the groups, or, see what it's all about. So I'd like to think, yeah, we've definitely pulled some people in from outside the community.
Yeah, because I was, like I said, I was viewing the Discord server and everything like that, and I didn't look inside the NorTV server at the time. I was just mainly focused on the AV Awards server, and it was great to see, in the welcome bit, these people are joining. There was like so many per day, and it was obviously, like I said, great to see. And earlier we talked about the rounds that goes through. So obviously, the production, what goes through with the production and everything like that. I'm just looking in the Discord server now. So you have a little section here, obviously, for AV Awards too. And it mentions stuff about booking and, elimination rounds for say. How do they work? How does the booking system actually work? And how does the elimination round work?
This is a very complicated process that even I'm not very well versed in, because the booking team and the booking department are basically completely separate to AV Awards. Same with the judges and the people who do all the voting, so that there is no bias from inside of NorTV at all. We are basically completely separate. The only people who really manage the booking department and the judges are Daniel, our executive producer, and even then he only oversees it. He doesn't make any sort of decisions within there, if that makes sense. The way it kind of works is people will submit the elimination form will open, so the elimination round. Then basically what this is it gives the judges a rough idea of who should be in the AV Awards, basically. So users are given a choice of, I believe it's like 8 different options for different categories. It's sometimes even more than that, and people can add their own onto there as well. So people select other and then choose an airline. Then what happens is we compile all of those responses. So off the top of my head, I think there was more than 1,000 responses just for the elimination round. Obviously, then we can see exactly who's voted for what, and we compile a list of 4 final nominees based off of that elimination round, and that's done by the judges. So I believe it's the 4 most popular airports, for example, airports, or the most popular developers, or basically whoever's been voted for the most in those elimination rounds gets put through to the final round. And that's when we open the game for people to actually go and to vote for the final, for the winner. And then it goes to the judges, and then it goes through another process, and we have to confirm the votes and ensure there's no sort of users voting twice, or that kind of stuff.
Coming at this as like an outsider perspective, obviously you're an insider and I'm an outsider. It is incredible to see again on the outside how it all works, and to hear it, especially that there's no over switching of teams, so there's no biases or whatever, is definitely great to see, and definitely more confident, inspiring to AV Awards and NorTV, that there is so much being put into this production that it is viable for so many people to watch. I mean, I've just been looking on obviously the YouTube, and obviously since the 4 or 5 weeks since it's been out, it has gathered 4.1 thousand views, and that's an hour-long video. So obviously it is doing extremely well, and I definitely think, with the procedures put in place, the booking, the voting, everything is coming together like that, and seeing the actual graphics change in-game is definitely something, I've never seen before. So it's definitely refreshing to see that there is new aspects, or, good aspects coming into games like that, where, the main theme for AV Awards 2024 was Beyond the Boundary, and I know you did a lot of work to push that out there to people, and this is definitely one of them productions that pushed the boundary, went actually beyond the boundary like you wanted to too. So it definitely blew me away when I was watching, because I watched, the full hour-long length of it, and it was incredible. But obviously, what everyone's asking, probably in the Ro-Aviation community, or even the NorTV one, will there be one for 2025?
I think that's going to be a pretty clear answer. Yes, there will.
Good, because I really am interested in watching.
Totally, yeah. I mean, a lot of the show couldn't have been done without your guys' support, so we owe a lot to Clearly Dev as well. Just for overall sponsoring it. The reason the production quality was so high was because quite a lot of our management got together in person to create this basically homemade studio, and that's what was able to kind of push us over the edge of this being not just a Roblox production, but an in-person production as well. We had an entire studio created basically, with computers handling every single aspect of the broadcast, and so to have our team in one place was incredible. You can imagine the costs of doing that are very, very extreme.
When you mentioned that to us in the call, I sort of sat back in my chair with Lucian over the call, and I thought to myself, are these guys actually going to meet up with each other? And I was like to Lucian after, I wonder if they actually are going to meet up with each other. But like you said, you met up with each other and everything, and I've never seen that sort of quality go into a Roblox production before, and I definitely, like you said, it was definitely what made it so much better. I mean, apart from Roblox's servers doing what they do best, it was definitely, again, incredible to see everything come together. I mean, I know I'm saying incredible to see a lot, but it was amazing.
It was, yeah, it really was, yeah. Even from an internal point of view, you know, the reception that we gained and the way the production went, we never expect it to go as well as it does, but when it does go well, we're very, very happy with the result. And this year we were very. I
presume you'd be very happy, and I presume there'd be. I mean, obviously, since you said 2025's one process starts exactly when the other one ends, I think there'd be once the awards show over, you sort of go. All that stress is gone.
There is actually a video that I would be happy to share with you of when we finished in 2022, and I specifically remember Daniel joining our call and screaming, "Thank God we are out."
That's what I mean. That there's going to be so much stress relief because you got that big of a responsibility to make it the best. That responsibility's gone. But once you end, the live stream and everything, is there any sort of internal processes or external processes that go on inside of NorTV that, after, the stream ends, do you have to promote something else or promote that you've ended it and it's been great? Is there sort of any other processes that go on outside of the end of the stream?
So I would say it's nothing outside of the norm. So when the stream ends, obviously we thank our staff. We have a little bit of a celebration afterwards that it's finished, it's gone well. And then we do our debrief. So we do our team debrief as like a whole staff team. So that includes everyone who's worked on the show. And then we do a management debrief as well. That's typically a few days after, so we can see what's going on. But then we do get together as well at separate points throughout the next couple of weeks, so we can look at what happened, how the stream's looking now, or how the video and the engagement's looking, and we start formatting plans for next year, stuff that we can improve on. We start writing all of that down. So that's the same as this year. We conduct quite a few like internal reviews of the video, so we will always go back and check and make sure that, number one, all of the graphics are correct, and we don't have to go and correct anything in post production, and again, just to identify areas for improvement. We typically stay active on our like community servers for the next couple of days, so social media and stuff, and we analyze viewer feedback, everything. We kind of compile everything that we've done throughout the entire stream and the days coming up to it and everything, put it all together, see what went well, see what went wrong, focus on fixing it for next year. But yeah, there's this year we started to subtitle our videos properly, so manual subtitling as well. That takes a while to get all of that sorted. And yeah, we're kind of we just go through and just make sure that everything was perfect, and if it wasn't, what can we do to
which
fix
is exactly why obviously there's going to be internal structures about what can you improve on, and all the feedback that you get from management and all that sort of stuff. But, is there ways that the community is involved in it too, in the feedback and all that sort of conversation about, what the community thinks can be better? I mean, obviously, it's important to hear what the community says. So is there sort of that feedback relayed from the community into management?
So we don't really do like a feedback form of such, but we kind of focus on reading the public channels, because most of the time the community won't want to fill out a feedback form. And if they do, it's not going to give them their honest reviews. What we tend to do, and what we prefer to do, is to go back through the live stream highlights and, like live reactions of people saying like, what is this? Or like, this is weird or something. So we can log that time then when that was sent, and we can can say, okay, this segment wasn't as favoured by viewers, whereas in other moments, our live chat preview is, oh, this is really cool, or this is awesome, or what, that we kind of do it based off of that, because we have tried feedback forms in the past and it didn't really give us anything constructive. It was, I think, people kind of vent their frustrations on a feedback form about the results of the show. So in terms of production, to be honest, when it's results, we can't really do anything about the results, because again, it's an entire system that it goes through to make sure that it's a fair result, and some people might not like that result, but that's how an award show operates. So when it's production wise, or anything to do with anything that isn't the results, to be honest, we kind of just do it based off of Discord chats or live stream highlights, and
which I totally get actually why you do that, because now thinking about it, I've seen multiple servers. Obviously, I've been interviewing clearly dev communities within our marketplace platform for a couple of months now, and obviously I always ask them about user reviews, user feedback, and some of the things that they get is people can contact us, you can fill out a form, everything like that, which I think is the industry standard way to go through it. But I think like you do, when there's an event going on, when you look through the normal live stream chats, the Discord chats, everything like that, you get people's raw feedback, and it isn't tailored to a result that ended up someone else ended up winning and this group didn't. It's always raw, and I think when you do that, you get a lot better feedback. So maybe that's something for the audience to consider. Obviously, if you're a marketplace store and you release a product, maybe take 1 or 2 days to let the community feedback, give their raw feedback in the chat, or however your community works, and then change and alter and update the result of the product from that, like AV Awards did too, which is exactly why I think it gets better each year, because people's raw react and then they go back and watch it the next year and they're like, oh yeah, that's actually improved upon this year, which again is definitely the way to do it. So you talked about meetings and debriefings going on after the show. How much staff are roughly involved in the production altogether?
Roughly each year we have normally around 30 people that work on everything to do with the show. So that could be our management, so our executive producers, head of sponsors, myself, or head of technology, head of development, and that kind of stuff. Then we have our camera operators, but then we also have different departments. So obviously our booking department, our judges, and marketing teams, booking managers for nominees. Everyone basically has a role at any stage of the show. So for example, camera operators, before the show, they're obviously rehearsing their own specific roles. They have full access to the theatre, so they can go on and try their cameras out, see where they're stationed, and get some cool shots and practice those, and just constantly practicing those. So when the show actually comes around, they've got a clear mindset of what kind of shots they could use. Obviously all of our production staff, so our director and our executive producers and everybody else who's involved in the production, we do a lot of rehearsals and run-throughs of everything, not only so we can kind of prepare for the production, but also so we've got a backup in case something goes wrong during the live stream, which is one of the things that we worked on this year. So before the actual live stream, we did a full recording of the show itself, just without the winner details appearing on screen. So the staff and nobody else knew at that time anyway, because none of us knew at that point who had won anyway. So we did a full run through. So if something went wrong during the live production, we could cut to that and we'd still have a working show. All of our staff, we kind of distribute the workload evenly between us, especially during like the critical phases, like the actual broadcast, and it does allow us to make the production even better than before, because not one person is like focusing on hundreds of things at once. Everyone has their own specific role, but we all work together really, really well. Over the last however many years of doing AV Awards, we kind of kept the same sort of team. The camera operators that were with us in 2020 are still with us today, so we've kind of worked together, and we've found ways to work as a team so well over those years that we all just kind of fit. So it really does, you can see the difference in our productions over the years, because the staff, we work together. I think
having a tight-knit team is definitely one of the main reasons why things are so successful. Here at Clearly Dev, obviously we have a very tight-knit team too. There's always stuff going on between teams, like between me and the development team, and then between me and management. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it means that we can sort of develop relations and have that tight-knit team, put together different things. So for me, it'd be marketing material, but for the development team, it'd be like, hey, can you promote this? Or for Lucian, if Lucian ever comes to me, he's the one that actually brought up the idea about our creator showcase, which has had a very positive, reception from our audience. So, I mean, having that tight-knit team is definitely one of the main things that makes something successful. And, you also talked about backups as well, which I've never heard of, in a Roblox production. And I think that is definitely one of the most innovative ways to go. If you have a backup of something that you can just clearly cut to, it is definitely going to make the show run smoother. So, having that is definitely, again, going to make it loads better for your audience to watch because it's a lot visibly smoother. But it's also going to keep the engagement and, retention rates high, which is exactly, again, what you want to. Anyway, obviously, Jack, it has been amazing to have you on ClearlyCast, and obviously I know you're an outsider to maybe our platform. Obviously, if you're selling here, you're not, but obviously, as a whole, we're talking about NorTV, and obviously I know NorTV doesn't sell on ClearlyDev, you're a production thing, so it is amazing to have someone and a company like you on our show too. The audience out there, obviously there'll be links to all the NorTV stuff in the description, from their social medias to Avi Awards to their YouTube channel. It has been amazing, obviously. So once again, thank you for coming on ClearlyCast. If you're an audience member out there wanting for more insightful interviews, community highlights, make sure to press that bell and subscribe down below so you can get, of course, the best notifications for our ClearlyCast episodes. Obviously, Jack, thank you so much for coming on once again. And I've been Reese, and this has been ClearlyCast. And obviously, to our audience, we hope to see you on here next time. Goodbye. This episode of ClearlyCast is brought to you by Spirit Solutions. Explore a huge variety of military, civilian, and role-playing assets when shopping with Spirit Solutions, who enhance the user experience through intricate and precise details while still maintaining top-level customer service and user satisfaction on their platforms. Spirit Solutions platforms will be linked in this episode's description. Go check them out. This episode of ClearlyCast is also brought to you by Fire Crew Development, with their range of extraordinary fire service, emergency service, and role-playing products. With a plethora of continuous 5-star user reviews, it's a no-brainer when searching for automated, scripted, and advanced fire systems for your amazing Roblox game. Check them out via the links in this episode's description to find out more about Fire Crew Development on ClearlyDev.